Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean.
Senior Report is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment.
From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and at this point in time with the show, we are going to be changing things up a little bit as far as the introductions and so forth, as you well know. And so we're going to still honor the legacy of Reed Powers for a little while longer. And but we welcome you. Come on in, have a sit with us. We hope you enjoy the show. We've got some great guests here today, and I have a few things I want to share with you before we get started. Today is May 10th, and today in Westfield at 5 o'clock, it's not too late, you can go to the Easton Hall, pay $10, get a great barbecue chicken dinner, have a chance to win $500, and participate in the Westfield Mayville Rotary Auction. They've got some great opportunities and packages you bid on. I know there's something about a week's stay in Florida, Orlando, that's going to be raffled or auctioned off. There's going to be, I think it's called a stress-free package for two at Bella Salon and Day Spa. I always reverse it. Over there in Northeast, it's going to be facials and pedicures and massages and all that good stuff. And there's coins, and there's going to be, you name it, pickles and pies and all kinds of really fun things that you might want to be taking home with you. This auction has been a great promotion in the area for many years, and the proceeds go right back into the community, help projects, help kids go to camp, help soup kitchens and scholarships and all sorts of things. Today, 5 o'clock, the live auction starts at 6. Our very own Dave Brown will be there. Also, coming up, we're going to start promoting this, and we're going to cut away to the poster here. We have at the Children's Safety Village that we often talk about, we have a 1K walk. I don't even know what a 1K is. That would take you, about 4 minutes? A 5K walk or a bike tour. And you're going to be hearing more and more about that. It's called the Dash and Bash on June 14th. And rather than give you all the details, it's a great opportunity to have a lot of fun, get some exercise, get out there and get some fresh air, and support a great, great program that helps kids stay safe and families be safe. Dash and Bash, Children's Safety Education Village, June 14th, coming up. And we'll be mentioning that from time to time from here on out. So thanks for getting that, Grandy. All right. I don't know about you guys, but this was the shortest spring I've ever experienced. I think it was like 2 days long. We went from winter to spring for 2 days and summer. Boom. What the heck's that all about? If you just moved into the area, next year could be totally different. We just never know. It's an exciting and very dynamic region to live in, and I love it here. I don't know about you, but the birds are outstanding this year. I'm sort of a amateur bird watcher, and I very often keep a diary of the birds at our house. Somewhere about 26 varieties show up at our house throughout the year. But one of our relatives said to me one day, if you want certain birds at your feeder, put out grape jelly. And I thought she was trying to promote Welch's. Well, anyways, I set up a little container this year, and I put grape chili for the first time ever. We've had like flights of goldfinches and flights of Baltimore Orioles. That's hard to say on the air. Baltimore Orioles. Way too many R's for me. And they're just unbelievable. The colors are extravagant. The oranges just pop. And if you see like half dozen or more goldfinches come flying at the feeder, it's just breathtaking. It's just great. And we've got woodpeckers out there and just all kinds of songbirds. So grape jelly in a little container. Keep it away from the squirrels if you can. You're going to get some really nice songbirds out there. I want to do a shout out to one of our long-time dedicated viewers, Mike from Portland. Had the opportunity to run into Mike a couple years ago where he worked, and I was talking to someone. I didn't know Mike at the time, and he popped out of his desk and says, "You're Doc Hamels, you're from the Senior Report." I go, "Yeah, how'd you know?" He's, "I know your voice anywhere." And then just recently we talked with Mike. He watches the show throughout the week, which is a reminder, if you're watching it live, this is great. We love to have you. But if you can't, and if you're watching this later on in the week, we rebroadcast this every day, twice a day here through the Mayville station, and then it's rebroadcasted over in Jamestown and Dunkirk. And we welcome you to view us throughout the week. It's also going to be on YouTube regularly and streaming live, as far as I know. And I'll give you more information on that some other time. But we're pretty modern here. I also encourage you throughout the show, as you all know, and this may be your first time viewing, when we're live, look at that, like the magic of TV. You can call us here, 753-5225, or the 5225, you can spell just Jack, that's my dad's nickname, and you can give us a call. If you have something you want to share, something's on your mind, an opinion, you want to talk to our guests here, they're going, no, don't call. If you want to find out more about something that we may know, so contacts that we often have here, or a past presenter. If you have a birthday, an anniversary, whatever, just want to say hi, call us. It's a live show. It's your show. This is all volunteer program here, and we're here to serve our entire county as one big community. So take advantage of that. One of the things I wanted to share with you is that over the course of time here, as you know, I'll be heading up the program. And we're going to begin to maybe expand the program here a little bit. We're going to perhaps change up a little bit. So I want you to know we're going to certainly continue the legacy that Repowers developed here for over 18 years, and the issues that were brought forward to you in your homes and for you to discuss and call in. But we're going to tweak it a little wider lens on things, and so over the course of time you might see things a little bit different, but I'm warning you now, we're going to just change it up a little bit. So hopefully you're going to enjoy the changes, and you'll enjoy what we're going to be doing here. Okay, a couple things I wanted to just review here to reflect a bit on was some folks that I wanted to kind of keep in my mind and share with you. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. And today's the day before Mother's Day. And before I go to there, I just remembered I got to do something very important, okay? Prepare yourselves. I know this seems hard to believe, but I got a special message that was hand-delivered earlier here at the studio. And today is May 10th, and a very, very special birthday today. Our very own Randy Burt. Happy birthday, Randy. He's looking at me. He's our cameraman. He's just standing there. He's in shock. How did we know that? We have insider information here. And then tomorrow, it's hard to believe, your son Justin, who's over here at the studio from time to time, is having a birthday. So I'll ask you, how old is Justin going to be?
21.
21. So he's legal to do all kinds of things. And are you old enough to do all that stuff too?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, he's working. So happy birthday to the boys there. Okay, getting back to what I was going to talk about is reflecting on some important people. Tomorrow's Mother's Day, and I was just thinking about my grandmothers and my mom and my wife and my kids and so forth. And you know, without getting heavy-duty schmaltzy here, I do really appreciate all that our moms have done for us, and I hope that tomorrow that you take the opportunity to honor your mom, your wife, your daughter that may be a mom, and just, you know, thank them for all they do. I mean, I watch my wife and the angst that she goes through with our kids, and though I try to be the calming factor sometimes, I'm not always quite that successful, but they really do make sure the little things take place, that they do the little extras for us. My mom was a veritable machine when it came to family. She did all she could to possibly keep the family intact and doing holidays together, and she really ruled the roost. My dad, poor dad, he was like myself sometimes a supporting actor in the family, but my mom's been gone 2 years now, and she enjoyed 63 years with my dad, and we miss her very much. But on Mother's Day, particularly this year, last year was tough, but this year just, I seem to even miss her even more, and trying to think of little special gifts I could get her, and something that was different. I mean, after so many years, what do you get your mom? But it was a challenge, but we always had a good time with that. And then I think of my grandmothers. They all would have been well into their 113, 120 years old. And I think about the legacy they gave to me and my brother and my cousins, you know, all the wisdom and so forth. And now I look at my kids having kids, and wow, it's really interesting to see how they've brought through the traditions of the family and keep certain things going. And so I just want to wish everybody that it's a mother or to be a mom or that you take care of kids. You don't necessarily always have to be the biological mom. Lots of moms are moms of the neighborhood kids and so forth. But happy Mother's Day. Hopefully tomorrow you can kick back a little bit, let us wait on you a bit, and hopefully you'll have a nice dinner and relaxing day. The other person that I want to reflect on here, I'll do my best. This has been a really tough couple weeks for all of us here at Access 5, the Senior Report. I want to just think about Reed a little bit. I know I couldn't be here last week. I've had some pre-arranged engagements I couldn't get out of, and not realizing I was going to be the guest host and now the host. But Reed Powers was an extremely interesting man, complex, and it didn't really hit me. And I know this seems kind of weird. My dad said to me the other day, how you doing after the loss of your partner? And I never really thought about it, but for the last 3 years, I would come on to the scene here, sit in my chair, and do a commentary. And it would start out as just me talking, and then back to you, Reed. But over the course of those 3 years, Reed and I actually developed a partnership on the air, and I don't know if you saw that, where we dialogued and we would share ideas. And Reed was such a provoker and such a funny guy that he would just keep us in stitches. And but yet, when I think of the 18 years plus that he did programming here, 900 zillion shows, and how many different guests, that he did such a great community service to Chautauqua County, to bring up issues, to bring in folks, to share information, to tell it like it really is. You may not always agreed with him, but at least you knew where he stood on things. And I really miss Reed a lot, and I'm in awe of what he did, and I'm humbled that I'm sitting in his seat doing this job now. And so I'm letting you know, and to all our viewers, that myself and the crew here are dedicated to continue to do a community service of bringing newsworthy things to you, bringing in speakers of all walks of life, of all different ilks and trades, to give you information and to keep our county as a whole, not split, divided, or in the dark, but to provide that light. So Reed, thank you for all those years of service and his family that allowed him to do that, and hopefully many years from now, somebody will be sitting in this chair thanking all of us for our service. Right now, I want to take a short break. We're going to bring on Karen Harvey, our guest commentator today. I have no idea what she's going to talk about. So, Jeff, you take it away, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Right. Red Raiders.
The
Bears. Republican. Democrat. African.
Classical. Despite our differences, we're all the same. We invite you to be a part of the change. Give to the United Way campaign and help make a difference in the lives of so many.
Live united. Live united. Live united.
Okay, I just got another little message here. The messages keep flying at me here. We have a special guest phone answerer today. So if you call in, our very own Linda Spalding, who has probably the sweetest phone voice and personality that you could want. She's taken over some of the responsibilities I used to have. I was like, hello, good morning. She's much more pleasant than I am. So if you call in today, Linda Spalding is on the phone. Okay, enough of that. We've got Karen Harvey. Karen, good morning. And what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about being a senior and being retired. And of course, you mentioned mothers and grandmothers, which as senior people, we need to pay attention to things that are going on that we didn't have time to do when we were working all those years. I'd like to pay attention today to what my government is doing. And while we're being distracted by many, many things, Congress is being pressured to fast track, that is, fast track legislation that will, once again, help international corporations. The end result of this fast track is the Trans-Pacific Treaty Partnership, or the TPP, something that is coming up this week, next week, May 19th through 20th, in the next round. What is fast tracking? Well, Congress is, under the Constitution, the one primarily responsible for treaties, international treaties, trade treaties. International trade treaties are congressional responsibility. When you fast track, you give that responsibility to the President of the United States. Fast tracking means that Congress signs away its responsibility for examining this so-called treaty, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Fast tracking means that he will sign the pact and Congress within 90 days must decide yes or no without having seen or participated in the treaty documents, which are largely done in secret. Now, what is the TPP?
I have no idea.
It is sometimes described as NAFTA on steroids.
Uh-oh.
It's an international treaty, trade treaty so-called, very much like NAFTA. 20 years ago we did have NAFTA, which was the North American Free Trade Agreement. Free trade reads Free Trade Agreement. But NAFTA, 20 years ago, and over the ensuing 20 years, has ripped the heart out of industrial America. We've lost millions of jobs. NAFTA has ripped out the heart of skilled America. It allowed the trade barriers to be eliminated. Our factories closed, they moved to other countries, and the cheapest labor was used. That benefited the international corporations. It did not benefit us, the middle class, the mothers, the grandmothers, the seniors. Then our government gave tax breaks and incentives to those very clever international corporations who put in these outsourcing methods. And millions of jobs have been lost, as we all have experienced. Well, we've not recovered from NAFTA yet, and the same financial people are pushing the TPP. Under a thin guise of leveling the playing field economically, the American working people will be competing with 16 other countries, like Malaysia and Vietnam, where the workers get $3 a day to work. This will be devastating to American jobs. But TPP is not just a trade agreement. In addition to the trade aspects of it, it threatens to roll back financial regulation, it threatens to roll back environmental standards, and it threatens to roll back U.S. laws that protect the safety of our food and our drugs and some of our products that will be new imports under this no tariff trade agreement. These products, drugs, foods, toys, will be made by people who make $3 a day. This TPP would create a binding policy setup on countless subjects, preventing Congress and state officials from oversight. TPP regulations would supersede our national laws and our state laws. To date, Democrats have been opposed to the TPP. They oppose surrendering the congressional right and responsibility to oversee trade agreements with foreign countries. But it behooves us, grandmothers and mothers, and seniors and everyone, to understand the pressures for increased centralization. it's important that we understand this thing that's coming and make it our business to understand it and to oppose it and to support those who oppose it, like Louise Slaughter, who brought it to our attention in the Buffalo News this week. She's the representative from the Rochester area. And another person, Martha Robertson, who's the candidate for the 23rd congressional seat in our area against Tom Reed, who is very much in favor of the TPP. So we think that it would be important to recognize that these things are going on while we're being distracted by other things, and it's very hard to understand, but hopefully we'll know that it isn't going to benefit us. It's only going to benefit a very few people.
Okay.
Thank you.
Karen Harvey, thank you as always. And that is an eye-opener. And if you think about this, and I think I'm right on this, think about all the products in the last maybe 5 years that we keep hearing about recalls. Lead in paint from toys from other countries. Products that are coming over here that we're either eating, ingesting, sharing, or wearing, and they are substandard, and as you say, they're probably going under the radar screen to come into our country, and they're not necessarily under the same protection, and then just the whole industrial thing has just sucked the life out of our country.
There are very few inspectors, and when they inspect, I mean, we know we have labels of organic and inspections, but these inspectors go over once a year.
Right, not enough.
That's not enough, and if you talk to them, they say, I wouldn't trust those labels because I've done it. So.
Okay. Well, folks, if you have any thoughts on this and you want to call in and share your ideas on this, bring it on. That's what we're all about. So again, thanks, Karen, and thanks for you and your husband covering last week. I appreciate that, and you might see these folks from time to time. All right. Well, let's get to these folks that are sitting here very patiently next to me. We are more than happy to introduce two fellas. We've got, let me get this straight now. We've got Tony Mazzocchi, who's sitting right next to me.
Hello.
And can I call you Dom? Would that be right? Dom Bellanti. From two different organizations, but they work together. Tony is from Commodore Homes, and we'll get into that in just a minute. And Dom is with Owl Homes, and I think most of us know, we see that name all over Chautauqua County. Good morning and welcome to the Senior Report. So glad you made it here. Tony and his wife, they came a long way to get here, so a couple-hour ride. So who's going to start?
Well, I can.
All right, well, there we go. Remember I told you how easy it was going to be?
Sure.
So Tony, tell me a little bit about you and why you're here and your company and all that good stuff, and then we'll go to Dom, and then we'll bounce around, okay? And remember, you can call in, ask these guys a question anytime you like.
Okay. Well, my name is Tony Mazzocchi, and I work for Commodore Homes in Clarion, Pennsylvania. I've been there for about 32 years, and I'm the sales manager, and we are a manufacturer of homes. We manufacture single wide, double wide, and modular homes in that facility.
Mm-hmm. Great. And what got you into the business?
I started out shortly after high school in the construction field. Mm-hmm. Left that for some time, but always had that yearn to get back to building homes again, and had an opportunity to get in with a good company, a good solid company, and so 32 years later, I'm still with them.
So, and Commodore is right. Your company's right in the forest of Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
Do you get your materials from locally? Or?
We get our materials from a lot of from Pennsylvania, from all over the area. We use name brand products that come. We actually have some products that come from New York State as well.
Okay. Great. All right, and we'll just jump over to Dom. And Dom, why don't you tell us a little about yourself, and we'll ask more questions as we go along here.
Okay, great. We're Owl Homes of Fredonia. We're located on Route 20, just off of Route 60 in Fredonia. The company was formed about 48 years ago. Mm-hmm. We sell single wides, double wides, and modular homes. Currently, we have 2 modular homes on display. We have 8 double wides on display and 3 single wides. We also sell used homes. We sometimes get repossessed homes. We've got some fantastic deals going on right now. Our homes are furnished, they're decored, they're set up for viewing. We're currently open 7 days a week. When we're not open, if we need to set an appointment, we can do that. We have low interest rates right now, as everybody knows, which equals very low monthly payments, all different types of terms, We have a realtor on staff to help you find land if you don't have land and you're looking to build. We cover a 125-mile radius. We handle the foundations, septics, wells, driveways,
So
landscaping,
one-stop
shopping. Yes, and we have a banker on staff. So,
Great, so you got everybody.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but you haven't told me a thing about yourself other than that you're with Al Homes. Tell us a little about you.
I've been in this business for 28 years. I started 28 years ago as the helper of a subcontractor who was setting and servicing homes for Al Homes. He, after 2 or 3 years of being employed, he passed away, and I carried on his legacy, and became, after about 5 years, an employee of Al Homes. And after another 10 years went by, I became owner of Al Homes.
You worked your way right up?
Worked my way up. You've heard the saying, be careful what you wish for, right? In today's economics. But no, we're proud of what we do. We sell a very high-quality product. As a matter of fact, Tony, I think Commodore is the #1 built manufactured home in the United States today, privately owned company.
Yeah, we are the #1 the builder of a privately held builder in the United States. Currently, we sell more HUD product than any manufacturer in the Northeast.
Terrific.
And so we're proud of that fact, and we've been in the business for a long time, and we plan on staying in it for a long time as well.
Well, let's just bounce a little bit to what Karen was talking about. Do you feel any competition from overseas or any of those kinds of things in your business?
No, actually, we don't. We have not seen that happen. We do see some of our products that are the products that we use to build our home are imported. We try not to use that.
Good.
We try to use mostly American-made products when feasible.
It probably gets more and more difficult over time, I would think, to find sources. Lots of mom-and-pop shops are closing up, and
exactly right. There are some products that aren't available locally, but we try to for the steel and the lumber and everything, all the main ingredients of our products or of our homes, we buy U.S. That's our goal.
Okay, I want to switch gears here just for a second because I've been thinking about you guys coming on here, and I wanted to share a few things that you don't know about. So we were talking before we came on the air, and you guys, you're probably looking at me thinking, well, he's probably Irish, which I am, and you might think I'm something else, but do you realize I'm half Sicilian?
Oh, that's great.
Because we were talking about, because that's why I was asking Dom about where his family was from, because my family is from Sicily in a little area called Vallelunga. You were talking about Calabria and so forth, and my wife and I, my mom and dad, about 5-6 years ago, we did a tour of Sicily. So if you're out there and you're Sicilian, good going. Go visit Sicily. It is gorgeous. You won't believe how beautiful it is there. Wow. It's outstanding.
Nice.
And much like when we went to Ireland, you're never a stranger. Everybody knows you there. The other thing I was going to mention is Bellanti. Now, is your family from Fredonia originally?
My family's from the west side of Buffalo.
This is getting better. This is getting better. Okay. Where on the west side of Buffalo? Do you remember?
I grew up on Sherwood Street off of Hampshire.
Okay.
My father grew up on West Ferry.
Okay.
My grandparents did come right from Italy.
Okay. Now let's see how close I'm going to get to this one, because I've been thinking about this all week. I went to a grammar school in the west side of Buffalo called Nativity. Ha ha! I saw the heart go up, I guess. Okay.
I went to Nativity.
You went to Nativity. And I went to school with a Bellanti. And then when we moved to our next neighborhood, that family ended up at St. Mark's, where I went to school and finished off my grammar school. But let me see if I can make this connection. This is going back a while. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, we used to live on West Avenue, which is all off that area there, Bluebird Bakery. And do you remember a place called Scaduto's? It was a little Italian place that had sold all kinds of dry goods, and you get snails and all kinds of things. Well, anyways, there was a guy, like it seemed like 8 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning, and you hear strawberries, fresh strawberries, or he'd have apples, and it was on a truck, and they had all these bins of fruits and vegetables that you couldn't get anywhere, and it was the Bellanti family. Was that your family?
That was my family.
Awesome!
Yeah,
I knew I was going to hit this, right?
Yeah, that
See?
was it.
Am I awesome or what?
That's pretty good.
That's wonderful.
Now, if I remember right, the Bellanti that I went to school with, I think, was Tony Bellanti. Is that a relative of yours?
I believe we're all related.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but as soon as you said the name, I go, I got to ask him about that. Isn't that funny? Well, we got these. As you say, you're only, 6 rings away from everybody. We're probably cousins, I don't even know. Okay, let's get back to what we're talking about. You guys mentioned some things about modular, double wide, and single wide. Okay, I kind of get single wide. Single wide to me kind of reminds me of and I'm not going to say this in a bad way, but when you go to certain developments, you'll see single wide homes, and they're sort of like a modern day trailer kind of look. I'm not saying that's a trailer, but you can correct me on that. But I don't understand necessarily what a modular is. I get the double wide, I think, but can you tell us more about what those are?
Well, sure. The mobile home terminology went away back in 1976, and since then, the terminology is manufactured housing.
Oh,
and we don't say the T word. We don't say trailer anymore.
Let's go.
But that's okay.
Make it up. No T.
But the product has changed from 1976 and on as the product became approved by HUD, which is a federal standard. It's a very highly regulated product. We're inspected from start to finish, everything that we do from the frame all the way to the top of the roof. And we have in-house inspectors in our facility that make sure that it's in compliance to that federal standard. The single wides, you say, they fall under that HUD code, as well as the 2-box double wides and in manufactured housing.
Now, I remember going to what used to be, which I won't say the T word, but the other version, and they were sort of like tin boxes to me. They were very stark. And then in the last maybe 20 years, I've gone into, like the home show, I go in there and go, wow, this is not that T word, but the manufactured housing. And I'm going like, this is unbelievable. This is like home. This is like a real house. When did it all change?
Well, it started changing in 1976. That's when the code first went into effect. But the code has progressed as well, and the product has progressed with it. There were times when metal siding was very common in metal roofs. Now that almost doesn't exist in the industry at all. The homes are now energy efficient. In fact, most of our product is Energy Star approved.
Okay,
which
so lots of insulation,
right.
E-glass, all that good stuff.
Yeah, the low E-glass, high performance doors and windows, full insulation, and it makes the energy efficient furnaces as well. And it makes for a energy efficient home for whether you're the first time buyer or a retirement person that is looking to save a little bit of money on heating costs.
Okay, I kind of get the single to double. Dom, how about explain a little bit more by what do you mean by modular?
Modular would be the same as having a carpenter stick build you a home.
Oh.
It is built to all, if the home's being built in New York State, it would be built to New York State rules and regulations, building codes. We have to abide by all New York State codes. If we're shipping the house to Pennsylvania, it would be built to Pennsylvania building codes. The modular versus the manufactured home is built to HUD specifications.
Okay.
The modular home is built to state specifications.
Oh,
that is the difference between the two. The modular home tends to be a little bit more expensive by probably about 10 to 15%. For just the home. It does not change the cost of the site work. A basement is a basement for either home. One of the, and I'll just go back to the manufactured home, a question we get a lot is, can I put this double wide on a basement? Absolutely. A modular home can go on a basement, a double wide can go on a basement. That part's all the same.
Okay, so maybe I missed something here. The modular home is built where?
In the same facility.
Same facility.
But it's to state regulations.
It's to
not
state
HUD.
regulations,
Ah,
yes.
okay. So is it bigger, 2-story versus 1-story, or is
Modular home can be a ranch home.
okay?
We're building 2-story modulars. We're building Cape Cods,
Really?
chalets, the Victorian look. Probably 50% of what we're building today is customized. Somebody comes in and they look through our homes, they look at the brochures, and they love a little bit from here, a little bit from here, and we mix, we match, and we customize, and we meet our customers' needs.
Well, that's great, because I know probably years ago people said, well, there's really not a lot of options. You can pick a color of your, maybe the table in the room or the whatever. Now, the trims I've seen, and the oaks and the maples and all kinds of beautiful things are going on in there. That's great. All right, let's talk a little bit about someone that maybe is at the point in their lives where they're downsizing, perhaps. I see that a lot these days. Well, they have these great big monstrosity houses, 5-6 bedrooms, and they inherited the family farm or whatever, and they want to make life a little bit simpler. Let's start day one and work our way right to the point where they can open the door and say, come on in and let's have supper. So where do we start with this project? The customer calls you up.
Okay, I got the floor.
You got the
Customer calls me up, and they're thinking about selling their existing home. It's time to, the kids are gone, married, children are off to college, and it's time to downsize. They come in, they shop, they look, they get the touch and feel. We show them options, like you said, Doc, from different size moldings to maple to oak to cherry. It's all there. It's
And they
all
do
it's
this
all
up in
available.
Fredonia?
They do it right at my office in Fredonia. I urge the public to please stop by and check us out. And from that point, if they may have land, they may not, we find out where they want to live, either on a private piece of property or in a community. We have many communities available also. We meet their needs as far as square footage of the home. We talk about the price point they want to be at, options in the home, foundation they want to be on, come up with the final dollar amount, and
Now, let me jump in right for a second.
Sure.
Now, I remember when we bought our house, or we didn't buy our house, we built our house, interest rates were 10%. I wish I had the interest rates that are out there right now. What can you build a house at? It's like hardly anything, isn't it?
it's like hardly anything. I'll give you a quick example that we're promoting right now. We have a piece of property that's valued around $18,000. Mm-hmm. We have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. The foundation, the septic, the well, driveway, electricity, gas, that package comes to about $100,000 to $110,000 in one of Tony's homes. You put 10% down, you end up with a mortgage payment of around $499 a month.
And so the interest rates are like, what, 3 or 4% or something?
That represents about 4% right there.
That's unbelievable.
Yep,
I would have
yep.
killed to have a 4% loan, That's just unbelievable. And I'm not promoting, Owl Homes here. I'm just saying, if you want to do something different, this is a great opportunity. And 4%, gosh, that's great. Okay, so let's say they want to buy land. You got any suggestions on what they should look for before they build their home? They want to have the dream home.
They want the dream home. They want land. I guess the most important thing is, what area do they want to live in? One big factor for families that have children is what school district do they want to be in. Another factor is, taxes. What are taxes like? Obviously, are higher in a village or in a city versus, in the suburbs and in the outskirts. So there's some different factors, but mainly a lot of times you don't know. So come on in and see us, and we'll direct you and help you obtain your dream home.
As far as land goes, I mean, a lot of times people say, we bought this piece of land, but we didn't realize it was swampy because we bought it in the summer. Can you give folks guidance in that particular area?
We definitely give them guidance in that area. With today's building codes, And the building inspectors, everybody's there to protect the consumer. We will not let them build in an area that is not suitable for building.
Okay. So, and I would think by now, you've been in this business so long, you know the soil conditions, the seismic conditions in the county, and where good land is, because your house is as good as your foundation. Let's talk a little bit about that. I know that there's block, there's poured, there's sectional concrete things. What do you guys use?
Well, we're using a little bit all of the above. As far as a basement, there's 3 types of basements that we're using. And we don't promote neither one. We give our customer what they want. And there's a block basement, there's a poured basement, and then there's what we call a superior basement, which is a precast basement that's insulated, which is very handy when we're building in the winter months. Example, we can dig the basement hole on a Monday, prep that hole Tuesday. The basement walls are delivered on Wednesday.
Wow.
Wrapped up, sill plate, everything prepped on Thursday. On Friday, the home is already on site. The home is craned on, the foundation, the roof is up, and it's weather tight. So from starting to dig on Monday, by the end of Friday, that home is on the foundation and weather tight.
So if I want to build a modular home through Owl Homes that comes from Commodore, what do I have to do to make sure this house gets built?
What do you have to
I was the general contractor
Sure.
in my house, and drove me crazy. I mean, we were kidding earlier that it's probably one of the top 5 stressful things you'll ever do is build a house. So help me here. Let's say somebody does want to do this. This sounds like a lot of work.
That's a great point. We handle it. We are the general contractor. We will guide you from, like you said, with the land to the financing to the size home that you need to all the foundation and site requirements, and we act as the general contractor. Now, there is quite a few consumers that have family members that do a lot of construction, what have you, and we do not object at all to having the consumer, handle whatever part of the construction they want to handle.
Okay, we'll get back to that in a minute. We got a phone call, and let's see what we got here. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I'd like to know when you have changed over, if you have, to more modern materials, because the reputation of these homes, modular homes of the past, were that they off-gassed. The new materials had some off-gassing problems that were unhealthy for people. Mm-hmm. How do you cope with that, or have you been aware of that and addressed it in more modern construction?
Okay, great question.
Yeah. I can answer that question.
Go for it. Okay.
I think you're probably referring to the formaldehyde. There was a formaldehyde issue.
Oh, I remember that.
Back
Yeah.
in the 80s, and now there's a regulation on the product itself. I mean, the products that we purchase have regulation on them for emissions, and of course that could be carpeting, wall panels, flooring materials, and so on. And those are all now regulated. So we don't have issues with that today. So, but that's a very valid question. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Did that answer your question? Gone. Okay, let's give Dom a little breather here, and let's go over to you, Tony. All right. It seems like Dom is on the front line, and he's talking to people and dealing with all that stuff, and the arguing. I want red, I want blue, I want whatever.
Sure.
Okay. So, where do you come in on this? I mean, tell me about, if I were to go down to Commodore Homes, what happens when Dom calls you up?
Okay. Well, Dominic has worked out all the details with the home buyer,
Okay.
determined the home that best fits their needs, in size, square footage, how many bathrooms, the size of the kitchen, and all those details. Then, and we partner with him on that because there may be specifics that customer needs for their home, for their family, and then we get a confirmation of that order to our factory. From that, the process begins, and the process is that we put that into a schedule, that home order into a schedule. Our purchasing agent locates the materials to build that home, with everything from the floors all the way through to the ceiling to the specifications that the customer has laid out with Dominic. And Then once the materials are there and the schedule is in place, then we begin that construction process, starting with the floors down an assembly line. Now, one of the advantages of manufactured housing is, as those materials come in, they're completely undercover. They're never exposed to the elements, as site build would be. We never have to worry about snow, rain, bad foul weather, or even really extreme sun. Because we're under roof all the time. All the materials have never been exposed to any kind of elements. That makes us efficient. One of the things that makes us efficient. The other thing is we have a crew of about 150 men.
No kidding.
150 men working on an assembly line to serve the line and to actually construct the home in the center of our facility.
How many houses are you building at one time?
We build, we rate it by floor by day, and currently we're building 5 floors a day, which it would be
every day.
Every day, and our maximum run rate is at 10 to 12 floors a day, which 10 floors a day would be 5 complete sectional homes.
Wow. Okay, so I always see big trailers going down the thruway, and they got these half a house. I mean, I'm not playing around right now. I mean, obviously you build the houses in halves, but they're never together to begin with, or are they together to begin with, and then you separate?
They will come down the line together, but not connected.
Okay.
We call it A half and B half, and it comes up our assembly line, and when they're finished and inspected, they're sealed and wrapped for transit. And then they're transported to the site that has been predetermined by Dominic and his customer.
Okay.
And then he finishes the assembly at the retail.
That sounds pretty easy
location.
so far. We got a call. Take another call?
Great.
Okay, good morning, caller.
Good morning. As to your guest, I happen to know someone that many years ago bought a home that went together half and half.
A manufactured home.
Yes, and put it on their own. They had a fire, and they bought a manufactured home and put it on their lot where their other house was. And they're still living there and have enjoyed their home, and very few things have gone wrong that wouldn't go wrong in a normal house anyways. But they recommend it highly, and I have spent a lot of time at the house, so I can vouch for that.
Did it happen to be an owl home or a Commodore home?
Yes.
Oh, there's your testimony.
Excellent.
See, they can do that. I got to be careful. You guys, there you go. Well, thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Okay.
Did it feel like a real house?
You wouldn't know that it came in 2 halves if you didn't. I mean, if you didn't see it happen.
You didn't see the dotted lines or the zipper.
They had a fire and they replaced it with the, I don't know what they call them, but anyways, and you wouldn't know if you didn't actually see it.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, thanks for calling in and sharing that with us. Well, that's a nice testimony.
That's a good one.
Wonderful.
All right, great.
You're welcome.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
weekend. All right, well, let's talk about this. So you got these 2 halves. All right, I kind of get the idea. Now you got the walls poured, and I know that you got to put the plywood. No, do you put the plywood down then? No plywood. That's already on the floor. It's all in there.
Yeah, it's the same as stick-built construction. The foundation's put in, sill plates around the top of the foundation. The house comes in. It's set on top of the foundation. It's 100% complete. Traditional 2x6 walls, 16 inches on center, R21 insulation in the walls, R38 insulation in the ceiling, 65 pound per square foot snow loads on the roof.
I understand you so far. This is good. We're on the same page here.
30-year architectural shingles. You can if you want a 50-year shingle, we'll give it to you. If you want Kohler faucets, you got it.
You got it. So basically, anything you do in a stick-built house, having our house stick-built, and now looking back, it might have been a better idea.
Sure.
I had a great contractor who will remain nameless. Came out of Pennsylvania, did a great job for me, but sometimes things are a little crooked, and you might. Now, this is something to think about, folks. When you have a manufactured home, everything is perfect, right? You're supposed to say yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, Doc.
When we're stick building, well, well, you know, sometimes the wind blows a little bit, or you know, it's like, well, is it a 1/4 inch, or is it, you know, or is it a little bit 3/8 of an inch? And well, that all kind of adds up as you go down the length of a house. And so I found a couple of my walls are just a little bit off. And then when you're trying to put ceramic tile in later, or you're trying to put your cabinets up and there's just a little lean to it, when you stick build, sometimes that's a little tricky. That's not to say there aren't great stick builder guys out there, because I know some fabulous carpenters, but this is an option, and it sounds to me like it's a real fast option. I mean, oh, that's one thing we haven't talked about. So let's say Dom calls you up, Tony, and says, okay, here's a house, do it. How long does it take from the time he's put the first piece of wood down till the house is ready to go?
Well, essentially it takes us a day and a half to build a home.
All right, let's try that again. You said, what? A day and a half?
It essentially takes a day.
Of course, if you got 150 people, it's like watching that show, that Extreme Makeover, or whatever that show is.
Right.
Holy mackerel.
It takes essentially a day and a half. Now, that doesn't mean that if he orders one today, we have one ready for him in a day and a half, because we have a backlog of orders that we have to maintain because of bringing materials in and so on. But generally, from the date of order to the home is ready to be shipped to its final destination is about 30 to 45 days. Okay. That's a general rule. Now, when in the summertime, when business is a little bit has increased because everyone's building, our backlog may go a little further than that. But essentially, a homeowner can finalize their order and be in their home within 60 days.
60 to 90 days.
Okay, we have two calls. The first caller left a message and wanted to know what percentage would you say is the difference between a stick-built home and a modular home, if any?
Percentage of cost?
Cost, yeah.
Statistics show that it's about 15 to 20% reduction in price.
A little bit cheaper.
Right, and that's because of the controlled environment, no loss of materials, no loss of time, no time down because of inclement weather and so on. So,
all right, great. All right, and we have a second caller. So you ready? Here we go. I told you it'd be a busy day. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Dak.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. My question, between the three homes, a single, the double, and a modular, what is like towns, villages, restrictions? I know like you go into a big city, they don't want you to put a single wide home. I've also seen land for sale and it says no modulars. They don't want no modular homes and stuff put on this land. So I just wondered what like the local area,
so
their
local codes
are and the subject.
Good question, and very valid. Codes are changing as we sit here, but the modular home, the home built to state code, is pretty much allowed anywhere a stick-built house can go, a modular home can go. Single wides and double wides are manufactured homes. The homes built to HUD code are built in communities and on land. A lot of times it's a matter of obtaining some New York State architect stamp prints, and usually we end up being able to put a manufactured home where the consumer wants to put it.
Okay, my second question, I'm just wondering, you see a lot in the paper, like mostly like single wide homes, the old trailers.
We don't say the trailer here.
Yeah.
That's no longer.
The ones I'm probably talking about were back from when they were trailers. They have fires, and they go fast. I mean, nowadays, is there something to protect you a little more from like a fire, like a mobile home fire?
That's a good question.
Well, sure, I can field that question. The homes are built completely different than they were pre-HUD, and pre-1976 is pre-HUD, and homes were built with a lot of plywood paneling, and constructionally they were not designed as safe as they are since 1976, since the federal code came into place. Now the homes are designed with drywall throughout the home, ceilings and walls. The opportunity for fire is no greater risk than any conventional home, any home that you have. There are also fire-related safety items. Smoke alarms are required throughout the home, and that's part of the HUD code as well. All the all the regulation is enforced by third-party inspection agency. We use a company called Radco, and Radco has inspectors in our line at all times to make sure that we comply in the construction of that home so that it is safe for everyone to live in.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to let you get back to your show. Appreciate the answers.
Okay, caller, thank you for calling in.
Thank you, caller.
Thanks to all our callers. See how easy this is? It's like a conversation. One of the questions that kind of came up to me while I was thinking was square footage. What sizes are we talking? My house is around 2,000 square feet, I think, total. How about the houses that you put together?
Well, Tony's manufacturing plant manufactures for us anything from a single wide that can have 600-700 square feet up into I'd say the average manufactured home that we're selling today, and Tony helped me with this, is going to be between 1,500 and 1,800 square feet.
Yeah,
That's about the average. It was like a three-bedroom home?
3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And you know, keep in mind that that home's also available to be built with a 12 pitch roof, which would be a Cape Cod, to give you another 1,000 square foot of future building space upstairs.
Okay.
If the house is 1,800 square feet and you're on a basement, you also have 1,800 square feet down in your basement of valuable space.
Yeah.
So.
And I think with the designs that I see more and more these days, that they're more open designs and less walls, less stairwells, less of that stuff, and the actual living room space is probably another 20% than the old homes anyways. Oh, fascinating. Let's throw a question over back to Tony. You said the largest home you built is 1,800 square feet. What's the most difficult house you ever built? Was there anything really weird or unusual?
Well, in today's world, we try to do everything we can to fit the customer's needs.
Mm-hmm.
So we have had some really interesting requests for design of homes, and we do intense customization today that we didn't do 25 years ago. So each home can be a certain challenge, but we have homes that are designed for, I don't want to say multifamily, but there often is a younger family still living with mom and dad, so they need the home designed to accommodate the needs of two families in one home. We do that kind of customization.
Mm-hmm. Great. Believe it or not, we have yet one more phone call, and we're going to cut it off at this, so you're going to be the last caller for today. Good morning.
Good morning. I just have a quick question. I'm curious more about how tech-friendly these houses are. Obviously, nowadays a computer is a big part of your house.
Mm-hmm.
I know some metals can stop like Wi-Fi and stuff like that. I was just wondering how tech-friendly these houses can be and how they can be customized to be tech-friendly.
You know, that's a great question. There's no metal in the homes anymore back in pre-1976. So once again, they can be completely customized. And Tony, what's some type of wiring we can put in every room or anywhere they want it?
Well, we can do phone jacks, of course, throughout the home. Most people set up their Wi-Fi in a central location in their home, and that's pretty easy to do. And as far as for other technology, if cable's needed, we do an RG6 cable that will take care of satellite dish of whatever sort they happen to use.
Okay. We're almost out of time. You see that?
Yeah,
Remember I told you it's going to go by quick?
Mm-hmm.
So how about we go with Dom first, and then Tony, and 30 seconds apiece, and we're going to wrap things up here. So, Dom?
Excellent. The last thing I'd like to touch on real quick, two things. Number one is the warranties on the home. Versus purchasing an existing home or having something built, our homes are fully warranted. Warranties can go a structural warranty up until 10 years. The appliances are covered. The homes come with appliances, curtains, blinds, carpeting, walls. They're 100% complete and everything is fully warranted. The last thing I want to touch on is a great deal we have going on right now. We're matching deposits up to $3,000. Love to have you stop by or call. Check it out. We'll give you some details. Our website, www.owlhomeswny.com. Once again, that's www.owlhomeswny.com. Please check us out. Thank you.
10 seconds.
Okay. Commodore Homes, www.commodore-pa.com. Commodore Homes of Pennsylvania, that is. And please check us out on the website as well. Give manufactured housing another look.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you for coming to the show today. I hope
Thank you.
It was good for you and fun, and for all of you out there. At this point in time, I want to just thank all the folks that made today's show possible. Jeff Zook, Karen Harvey for coming in, Randy Burt on camera, Linda Spalding. I haven't even talked to her yet. She's over on the phones. Chris Burt, who runs around, does all kinds of things over here.